It's Tuesday, April 26. In the headlines, at least 2 major construction companies among bidders to construct Jamaica's new Parliament complex. JN Bank advises customers to beware of fake accounts on Instagram. Regionally, anticipation builds in Antigua for royal visit of Earl and Countess of Wessex. And in sports, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is set to defend her 100-meter title at the World Athletics Champs. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I am Simone Absalom Gale. Negotiations regarding wages for Jamaica Public Service JPS workers started a year and a half ago, but no progress has been made. That's the word from the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees, UCASE. The union's General Secretary, John Levy, says workers are running out of patience as wage negotiations with the company drag on. He's quoted saying the company is making demands from the workers to give up their benefits in order to get a wage increase, end quote. We'll have more in this report as it develops. West Indies Home Contractors Limited, WICON, and China Harboring Engineering Company Limited, Czech, have joined the list of companies seeking to get the nod to construct the multi-billion-dollar new state-of-the-art Parliament edifice at Heroes Park in Kingston. General Manager of the Project Planning Division at WICON, Kerry Moy O'Connor, says the new Parliament building is one of the biggest projects of its kind in the Caribbean over the last 20 years. WICON's portfolio includes not just housing solutions, but commercial space and other infrastructure works. On the other hand, China Harbour Engineering Company has secured some major local projects and has indicated its interest in bidding for the massive government contract. Loy Malcolm, Deputy General Manager of the UDC, says the bids, which have been out since April 4 this year, will come to a close on June 28, 2022. The UDC says it's aiming to complete the bidding process and award a contract within this calendar year. Jamaica has received 620,000 doses of Pfizer vaccines from the government of France. Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn, was on hand at Stony Hill Heart Academy vaccination site where the doses were immediately put to use. Cuthbert-Flynn, who is also Member of Parliament for St. Andrew West Rural, in which the site is located, thanked the French government for the vaccine.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness very appreciative to the French people for this donation that we were able to receive. I think it's over 600,000 vaccines that we received from the French people.
With the nation's children now fully engaged in face-to-face classes, the state minister says she is looking forward to an increase in the uptake of the Pfizer vaccine, which is currently the only vaccine that is administered to Jamaican children 12 years and older.
What is exciting is that we're able to get our children back in schools. Schools reopened back in November, and we were able to actually have full face-to-face after the Christmas holiday. And I think what we saw was once the Pfizer vaccine was available for students, we saw a great uptake in that age group. And so what we want to continue to see is now that the country is opened up, we see another variant approaching. We know that there are other variants here in Jamaica. We want to make sure that the young people who are out and about, going to parties, mingling, because they're the ones that's possibly going to be healthier and then go home and infect maybe the older population. So we want to make sure that the younger people are still coming in and taking up the vaccine.
The donation comes in time for World Immunization Week. Jamaica has joined the region and the world in recognizing World Immunization Week, which is usually celebrated in the last week of April. World Immunization Week, or Vaccination Week, aims to highlight the collective action needed to promote the use of vaccines to protect people of all ages against disease. It's World Intellectual Property Day. The event is celebrated every year on April 26th. And this year, the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office is having a round-table discussion on the IP theme, IP and Youth Innovating for a Better Future. The National Water Commission is advising that operations at the Long Mountain Well facility in Kingston will be suspended from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday, April 28, 2022. The NWC in a statement says this is to facilitate ongoing NRW network activities on the transmission pipeline. Customers served by this system are being encouraged to store water for use during the period. Areas to be affected include Harborview, Palisadoes, Port Royal, 7 Miles and surrounding areas. The National Water Commission regrets any inconvenience and crave the patience and understanding of its valued customers. In 2020, 2.7 million children in the Americas did not receive the essential vaccines needed to keep them healthy due to interruptions in health services caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Director of the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, Dr. Carissa Etienne, made the disclosure as she launched Vaccination Week on Monday.
The PAHO boss says regional vaccine programs have stood the test of time when compared to other countries.
Our region leads the world in the successful eradication of smallpox, the elimination of poliomyelitis, measles and rubella, and the early introduction of new vaccines, such as pneumococcal, human papillomavirus, rotavirus vaccines, among others.
She says the vaccination system has been severely affected.
Our health systems were overwhelmed during COVID, and many health staff were redeployed to manage the national COVID-19 response, while overpowering fear of becoming infected deterred many individuals from attending vaccination clinics.
Dr. Etienne adds that even before COVID-19 brought the world to a sudden halt, our coverage for routine vaccines had fallen below optimal levels.
The past 2 years have rolled back nearly 3 decades of progress on polio and measles vaccination and left us at risk of reintroduction. Today, we are again at the same vaccination coverage levels that we reported in 1994, when these diseases still posed a serious threat to our children, families, and communities.
This year, the countries and territories of the region plan to immunize around 140 million people for Vaccination Week, which celebrates its 20th anniversary, April 25 to April 30.
JN Bank advises customers to beware of fake accounts on Instagram. We have this and your usual market updates in the Business Report with Danita Rodney.
The Jamaica National Bank is advising its customers to be aware of a number of fake Instagram accounts reposting their content and soliciting banking information. In a statement issued, the bank says that the activities have been reported to Instagram. However, users should be mindful of the threat and to know that the bank will never request sensitive personal information via direct messages or email. The JN Bank currently operates one official account on the platform under the handle @JN Bank Limited. Any variation of the handle should be deemed fake and immediately reported and blocked. Last Thursday saw the hosting of the virtual awards ceremony for the Regional Business Plan competition launched by UII Open Campus and Compete Caribbean. The competition, which ran from January 25 to March 11, 2022, received business plan submissions from 22 contestants from 8 Caribbean countries, with Barbados, St. Vincent, and Antigua coming out on top. Productivity and Innovation Coordinator of Compete Caribbean, Mr. Wayne Elliott, stated why the competition was open to the Caribbean and not just one country.
At Compete, we recognize that community-based tourism is a powerful channel for sustainable and inclusive economic development in the Caribbean. CBT enables greater market opportunities for a broad base of local entrepreneurs, which in turn creates employment opportunities.
He also spoke of the need to build entrepreneurship to facilitate further development.
Building entrepreneurship and supporting the innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem are two critical challenges that need greater attention if this region is to continue to make significant strides in its pursuits of sustainable development.
The competition saw Miss Chloe Walker of Barbados winning first prize with her business Rock Hall Freedom Walk Experience. Second prize went to Mr. Cenas Hines of St. Vincent with Carriway, and the third prize was given to Miss Rafika Atwood of Wallings Nature Reserve. Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Monday, April 25, the US dollar sold for an average of $155.46. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $122.67. The pound sterling traded for $200.56, and the euro sold for an average of $169.54. The following reflects the movement of the JSE indices in Monday's trading session. The JSE index declined by 2,186 points to close at over 300,000 units. The junior market index declined by 21 points to close at over 4,000 units. The combined market index declined by 2,239 points to close at over 400,000 units. And the All-Jamaican Composite Index advanced by 77 points to close at over 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 104 stocks, of which 39 advanced, 51 declined, and 14 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, 1834 Investments Limited, and AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Variable Preference, Access Financial Services Limited, and Berger Paints Jamaica Limited. Trading firm were CAC 2000 9.5% Cumulative Redeemable Preference Shares, Carreras Limited, and Elite Diagnostic Limited. Radio Jamaica Limited was the volume leader with over 2.8 million units, followed by Trans Jamaican Highway Limited and Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with over 2 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Clico Investment Fund was the sole security with over 67,000 shares being traded. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Goddard Enterprises Limited was the sole security trading over 7,000 shares. Barbados has signed a deal with Royal Caribbean that will provide significant job opportunities for citizens. More from Barbados Today.
Thousands of jobs for Barbadians with one of the world's major cruise lines will open up within the next 4 months. Today, Tourism Minister Senator Lisa Cummins and the Chief Executive Officer of Royal Caribbean, Michael Bailey, signed a memorandum of cooperation to facilitate the move on the sidelines of the Sea Trade Cruise Global Conference in Miami. A wide range of jobs are available under the agreement.
And we're talking here about our creatives, our entertainers, photographers, persons who work in hotel and hospitality management. And if we know one thing about Barbados is that Barbados is well known for our hospitality. We are warm, especially when it comes to our cruise partners, and we're looking forward to this new partnership with Royal Caribbean, getting more Barbadians employed on board cruise ships, traveling the world and taking Barbados and our hospitality with it, and working with you to develop even more opportunities.
In market data for oil prices rose modestly in volatile trading this morning as the market weighed concerns over Russian supply and Chinese demand. Brent crude futures were up 41 cents or 0.4% at $102.73 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude was up 18 cents or 0.2% at $98.72 per barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, we begin with news from Guyana. His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali will deliver the key address at the prestigious Caribbean Council's House of Lords annual reception on Wednesday, April 27 in the United Kingdom. According to Guyana's Department of Information, the Caribbean Council's House of Lords annual reception is geared towards providing UK, Caribbean, and Central American countries and companies the opportunity to network with their counterparts in Europe. The reception welcomes over 200 guests active in Caribbean politics and business. They include an influential mix of members of Parliament, peers, High Commissioners, ambassadors, UK civil service members from the Foreign Office, UK and Caribbean business leaders and international investors, as well as non-governmental organizations and members of the Caribbean community in the UK. Anticipation builds in Antigua and Barbuda as the country prepares to welcome the Earl and Countess of Wessex. Just like the Duke and the Duchess of Cambridge, the Earl and Countess are on a Caribbean tour to mark the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. ABS TV has more.
All is in place for tomorrow's visits to Antigua and Barbuda by Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, and his wife, Sophie, the Countess of Wessex. After arriving at the VC Bird International Airport, the pair will be treated to an event at Government House called Showcasing Our Nation, Saluting Our People, hosted by the Excellencies Governor General Sir Rodney Williams and Lady Williams at 10:30. In the afternoon, they'll then move on to the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium for inspiration at the Crease at 2. The Royals will then be in English Harbour at 3 from the helm, saluting the triumphant with the National Sailing Academy. The trip will then end with a visit to the historic Clarence House with memories, memoirs and meaning. Prince Edward is the youngest of Queen Elizabeth's children. The Royals are on a Caribbean tour to mark the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
In Barbados, more Barbadians are reportedly seeking help with their mental health. That is the word from local specialists who say the increases have coincided with the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking on the People's Business, consultant psychiatrist Dr. June Price Humphrey spoke about the role of mental health specialists in navigating difficult times. CBC Barbados has the story.
Now we're seeing persons who accept that they are indeed suffering or struggling, whether or not there's a diagnosis to be made, and recognizing that they do indeed need to access help and are willing to do so. We have persons who are willing to do so in the public system who may have otherwise wanted to go. Right? We have persons who are willing to acknowledge that stigma or not, if they don't get help for this thing that they're struggling with, their lives are going to continue to deteriorate. And so demographic, I don't necessarily mean particular age or stage of life, but in tackling that stigma, the persons who would otherwise have shied away from accessing help for whatever reason are now willing to come forward.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus is hoping to reduce the importation of seedlings used by farmers in the near future by helping them save their own genetic material. More from TGT Live.
Speaking recently at the campus's first Sustainable Seeds of Survival Fair at the University Field Station in Mount Hope, lecturer in the Department of Food Production, Dr. Wendy Ann Isaac, said she believes farmers rely too much on purchasing seeds from multinational corporations. She said she sees no reason why this country cannot produce material that they can use to replant.
They patent genetic material, GM products, right? So that we want to kind of get out of that culture, because we want our farmers to be able to save the genetic material, right, through using OPs or open pollinated varieties that they could replant, right? And these varieties, mind you, they are what is known as true to type. When you plant a hybrid variety and you save seeds from that, you don't get what is true to type.
The Department of Food Production is also in the process of revitalizing its seed bank and library and is expected to cooperate with Jamaica to share genetic material soon.
We have already liaised with RADA in Jamaica, and they will be sharing with us some of their genetic material, and we will share with them as well. So that is what it's all about, you know. Seed security is so important for food security. And what is also important is the fact that, you know, we want to build on this, on the whole resilience to climate change and to other natural disasters that we may face.
The event was held to coincide with Earth Day, and there are hopes to expand the fair to several markets throughout the country in the coming weeks.
Back in Guyana, as schools begin the process of reopening for face-to-face learning, the Ministry of Education has set out to examine students' attendance records in hopes of seeing the number of students who may have fallen out of the education system during the past 2 years. Gordon Mosley reports.
The Ministry of Education is hoping to get a clearer picture of the number of students who may have fallen out of the education system during the past 2 years because of schools being closed as a result of the pandemic. Today, schools across the country started to reopen their doors for in-person full-time classes. In recent weeks, the Education Ministry has been trying to track down students who have not been appearing in the online classes, fearing that many of them might have dropped out completely. With schools now reopening to full-time face-to-face classes, Chief Education Officer Dr. Marcel Hudson said a clearer picture is set to emerge.
We will get a good opportunity now to see who is coming and who are coming and who are not coming to school in terms of our students.
Over the past 2 years, the Ministry of Education found itself adjusting to the new forms of online teaching and learning. But it was later revealed that hundreds of students nationwide were not presenting themselves in the virtual classes. The situation became worrying. A few months ago, the ministry launched Operation Recovery and went into communities in search of the absent students. Many of them were located and presented various reasons for their absence from the classroom.
We can't do this thing alone. We can't find all the missing students, all the visit all the homes and where they are and so on and so. I think right now, if we're going to be successful, it is important that we have collaboration with all our stakeholders. That is the parent, teachers, the wider community, everybody, because we need to look for those students.
The reopening of schools to full-time classes is being done in a phased manner. By next week, all schools will be fully reopened across Guyana.
In sports, Jamaican sprint star Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce says she is looking to defend her 100-meter title at the World Athletics Championships in Eugene, Oregon in July. Fraser-Pryce says she plans to limit the number of races that she will compete in this year because she's focused on winning her 5th 100 meters world title. The sprinter opened her season at the Velocity Fest on Saturday with a time of 22.79 seconds for second place. Fraser-Pryce, who has personal best times of 10.60 in the 100 meters and 21.79 in the 200 meters, says she plans to lower both times this season. And that's the news on PBC Jamaica. Thank you so much for watching.